Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings for Thursday, March the 23rd. We got a short slate for Thursday, only a 4-game slate tonight, so going to be a little bit of a quicker video, guys, but we're still going to go game by game. We're going to talk through each one of these 4 games, give you guys kind of a quick preview of the slate, what I do like, taking a first look on Wednesday night. But before we do get started with the breakdown, as always, if you guys do enjoy these DFS videos, make sure you hit that like button down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to the channel, and if you have not yet, go check out PrizePicks. They are the sponsor of this video. You guys can actually sign up for PrizePicks, and you can use my promo code NOAH. When you do sign up, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. And for those of you that have never heard about PrizePicks, they are a player prop site. Very simple, very easy to use. You're just taking more or less on a player's projection. It's as simple as that. You have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 6 picks, and you can win up to 25x your money on PrizePicks. They do offer a ton of other sports outside of just NBA, so if you like to dabble into other sports, NHL, PGA, baseball, which starts in about a week, the regular season at least, college basketball, PrizePicks offers every sport imaginable. So it's a lot of fun. You guys definitely need to be playing over there, and if you're not signed up for PrizePicks yet, again, use that promo code NOAH. When you sign up, get your first deposit matched up to $100. But yeah, guys, we got a 4-game slate for Thursday. Let's go ahead and talk through this one real quickly. So we'll start off with the first game of the night, the Knicks and the Magic. The Knicks, they are on a back-to-back today. I think they're the only team on a back-to-back, so we'll have to monitor their injury report, but I think for the most part, we can expect pretty much everyone on the Knicks to play. I don't think they're going to rest anybody or anything. So, looking at Orlando first. On Orlando, I don't love a ton here. This matchup against the Knicks, I don't think it's like the greatest. I think this could be kind of a lower-scoring, slow-paced game. Everyone feels priced correctly on the Magic. Banchero's coming in at 7,600, Markelle Fultz 7K, Wendell Carter Jr. 6,900, Franz Wagner 6,600, Cole Anthony 5,600. I think my favorite play on Orlando would be Cole Anthony. Right now, without Jalen Suggs, we're seeing Cole Anthony play pretty good minutes. He's played around 30 minutes over their last few games. Minutes should continue to be there for him, and he's probably going to close. He's probably going to be in the closing lineup over Gary Harris, so he's going to get those fourth quarter minutes. If we're getting 28, 30 minutes from Cole Anthony, he's a guy that can average over a fantasy point per minute. 5,600 is still a reasonable price tag on him, so he's definitely my favorite play on Orlando, but I don't like too much on the Magic here outside of Cole Anthony. I know Gary Harris had a really big game last game, but he did that in just 24 minutes. He shot 7 for 10 from the field. He shot 6 for 9 from 3. Definitely an outlier performance, and I personally would not be chasing that. I think Gary Harris is a pretty easy fade today, so let's go ahead and move on to the other side of this game now with the Knicks. And for the Knicks, we know this is a team that they're going to run a pretty tight rotation. They're going to play their main guys big minutes, so we can expect big minutes for Julius Randle, for Jalen Brunson, probably for RJ Barrett too. I think Randle at 9,100 is a fine play in GPPs. Not a priority on this slate. We've kind of seen his production take a little bit of a hit since Jalen Brunson come back. He did have that big game against Minnesota, but was kind of a letdown on Wednesday against Miami. Obviously a tougher matchup. This matchup against Orlando is not as bad. I think Julius Randle's fine here. Not a priority for me, but he's definitely playable. I think Jalen Brunson at 7,800 is a fine play as well. Since he's come back from injury, he's been rock solid, especially last 2 games, 45, 42 DraftKings points. Minutes have been great. He's back to playing 36, 37, 38 minutes a night. He's probably my favorite play on the Knicks, then Randle, and I don't really have a ton of interest in anyone else on this team. Everyone else feels kind of priced where they should be. Mitchell Robinson's really cheap. I don't love the matchup against Orlando. Orlando's been pretty good defensively against bigs this season, but Robinson should play 25 to 28 minutes. He should average around a fantasy point per minute. He's an okay value. I don't think he's a guy that offers like a massive upside, massive ceiling, but definitely in play if you do need a cheap center option. But that'll pretty much do it for that game. I think we can go ahead and move on to the next one, Cleveland and Brooklyn. So kind of another game that's not very appealing. 2 teams, especially the Cleveland, a team that plays really slow, good defensive team. Now Brooklyn, I think, is a team we can definitely look to target today. It's not the best matchup against Cleveland, but right now Brooklyn is just running a really tight rotation. Last game they did kind of expand their rotation a little bit, and a lot of that was kind of due to the game being somewhat of a blowout. It did want to be in a competitive game at the end there, but for the most part, we can expect pretty big minutes for Spencer Dinwiddie, Mikal Bridges, for Claxton, for Cam Johnson. Dinwiddie's coming in at 8,300. I think 8,300 is an appropriate price tag for Dinwiddie here. Not a guy that I'm super interested in at this price tag. I would definitely rather save salary and play Mikal Bridges. I know Mikal Bridges has not been great lately, and he did struggle in this matchup on Tuesday when they played. But he played 31 minutes. He took 37 minutes. He took 21 shots. The usage has been great since he's been with Brooklyn. The shot attempts have been great. He shot 0 for 8 from 3 last game. Obviously, that was definitely an outlier performance. We know Bridges is a pretty high efficient shooter. He's going to continue to take a ton of shots. He's going to continue to play massive minutes. So he is for sure my favorite play on Brooklyn. Don't mind Nick Claxton at 6,800. He should play probably 30 minutes here. He got benched late in that game. He didn't play much in the fourth quarter at all. They actually closed with Day'Ron Sharpe over Claxton. That's another thing that just doesn't feel like, that feels like an outlier. I don't think we can expect Day'Ron Sharpe to close over Claxton every night. That definitely just feels like kind of a one-time thing. So I would expect Claxton to play over 30 minutes here. Matchup against Cleveland, not great, but again, Claxton's a good permanent producer. Minutes have been much more secure lately. I think he's playable at 6,800. Cam Johnson at 6,500, probably going to pass on. The rest of Brooklyn, I think I'll pass on here. Definitely, again, favorite play on Brooklyn is for sure Mikal Bridges. Now, on the other side with Cleveland, you got Donovan Mitchell coming in at 8,400. I don't mind Donovan Mitchell here. I think he feels priced about right. Wasn't great in this matchup against Brooklyn. Did have 31 points, but didn't really contribute much with any other peripherals. Only finished with 42 DK points. The game log lately for Mitchell has not been very pretty, but we know Donovan Mitchell is a guy that can put up a big game any night. I think at 8,400 he is a fine play today. I think Mobley and Garland both feel priced about right. Neither one of those guys stand out a ton. If I had to pick one of the two, I would definitely prefer Garland over Mobley. And then Jared Allen, I did have some interest in GPP's last game, and he was really good. He played 35 minutes in his first game back from injury, had a big double-double, 36 Draftkings points. I think he's my favorite play on on Cleveland. When you factor in price tag, 6,300 for Jared Allen. If he's going to play 35, 36 minutes again, he should average over a fantasy point per minute, and he should easily be able to provide a pretty good return on this salary. So I do think he's a little bit underpriced right now. I think the matchup against Brooklyn is pretty good as well. It's been a pretty good matchup for centers. So I do like Jared Allen quite a bit at 6,300. And that's really it for Cleveland. That's it for this game. Let's move on to the next game, Charlotte and New Orleans. So this is probably the most appealing game on the slate, I think, in terms of like a pace perspective and in terms of expected points. Really good matchup here for these Pelicans guys going up against the Hornets. The Hornets, bad defensive team. They play at a fast pace as well. It's a great spot for Brandon Ingram. It's a great spot for CJ McCollum. Ingram is not super cheap today. He's coming in at 9K. But I think on this slate with only 4 games, you look at the pay-up options today, you're looking at like SGA, Kawhi, Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram. There's no there's no Luka, there's no Giannis, there's no Jokic, there's no AD. Like there's none of those guys on this slate. So I think Brandon Ingram is definitely someone we can pay up for today, even at 9K. The matchup's obviously great, and we've seen Ingram have a big ceiling when he's playing without Zion. Minutes have been great as well. Lost some minutes last game due to a blowout, but did do really well in the 31 minutes that he played, put up 48 Draftkings points. I'm fine with Ingram at 9K here. I'm fine with CJ McCollum at 8,100 as well. Both those guys I think are in play. And then Jonas Valanciunas, he's a tough guy to really predict, but the minutes have been trending up for J-Val. The last 3 games, 34, 33, and 28 minutes. Last game would have played more than 28 minutes, but again, lost some minutes due to foul trouble. So technically, if last game would have been competitive, we probably would have got over 30 minutes from J-Val once again. Now, is this going to continue? I really have no idea, but if we do get over 30 minutes from J-Val, he could absolutely crush here. We know J-Val is a great permanent producer. It's a great matchup against Charlotte. Charlotte's been one of the best matchups for centers this season, and we saw J-Val go absolutely nuclear against Charlotte earlier this year. He put up 30 points, 17 rebounds, 62 Draftkings points for sure. Pretty sure that was his best game of the season in terms of Draftkings points, maybe like second best. So great spot for J-Val. The minutes concern me just because I don't think he's guaranteed to play over 30 minutes, but if he continues to play over 30 minutes, he can easily pay off a $7,100 salary, especially in this really good matchup. So I do like J-Val for GPPs, even with this price tag coming up. And then the rest of the Pelicans, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, neither one of those guys stand out. Really nothing else on the Pelicans looks that great. So let's move on to the other side of this game now with the Hornets. And the Hornets, they're a team that right now they're going to run a pretty tight rotation, even though they're kind of out of the playoff run. They don't really have anything to play for. They've been playing their main guys big minutes, so we can expect Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, especially those two specifically. You can expect those guys to play 36, 38 minutes. Matchup for Rozier, I don't think it's like the greatest, but Rozier's going to have a big role. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. He's going to take a ton of shots. He had a great game against the Pelicans earlier this season for what it's worth. He shot 7 for 24 and managed to put up 57 Draftkings points. He had 23 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds. Don't know if we can expect that type of game from Rozier here, but again, the role is great, so I think at 8,200 he is playable. I think Kelly Oubre at 7,500 is pretty solid as well. His minutes have been great. He's been playing massive minutes. Got into some foul trouble last game, but aside from the early foul trouble, we can expect probably 36, 37, 38 minutes from Oubre here. if the game's competitive, if he's not in foul trouble. He's playable at 7,500. And then, Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, where they're priced at 6,400 for Washington, 5,700 for Hayward. They're okay, but neither one are priorities for me. Neither one stand out. The guy that I do like quite a bit, though, from the Hornets is Nick Richards. So we saw Nick Richards' minutes get back up to somewhat normal last game against Indiana. He played 26 minutes, had 42 Draftkings points. I think he did pick up his third foul. I want to say he picked up his third foul with like a few minutes left in the second quarter. So he actually lost a few minutes because of some foul trouble. We might have gotten 30 minutes from Nick Richards last game had he not been in foul trouble, and he was very productive. 14 points, 17 rebounds, 42 Draftkings points. Nick Richards, in the minutes he's gotten this season, has been a very productive, per-minute producer. They're going to need his size in this matchup against Jonas Valanciunas. The only thing I worry about is foul trouble because, J-Val's a guy that does draw a lot of fouls, but as long as Nick Richards can stay out of foul trouble, I think he offers a lot of upside at this 5K price tag. So I do like Nick Richards quite a bit, and he's probably my favorite play on the Hornets. And that'll do it for the Hornets. I don't see too much else I like on that side. So let's move on to the last game of the night. The late night hammer, the Thunder and the Clippers. We're seeing a rematch of these two teams. I think they did just play on Tuesday. But it's going to be a little bit different because the Clippers, unfortunately, are going to be without Paul George for this game. And I think they're going to be without Paul George for pretty sure till like the end of the regular season. He might be ready for the playoffs and the play-in tournament if, eventually, if they get to there or they get to that point. But no Paul George today, so we can expect a really big role for Kawhi Leonard. We can expect the offense to really run through Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi, last few games, not been great, but I think this is a spot where we can expect, a ton of opportunity for Kawhi, big-time usage. DraftKings did raise his price up a little bit, but you could argue that he should be like over 10K. He should be like 10,500, closer to 11K when he's playing without Paul George. So I definitely like Kawhi Leonard as a pay-up option. I think overall he's probably like the top pay-up option today. I think it's definitely close between him and SGA, but I do like Kawhi a ton. And I think Russell Westbrook benefits here as well. Now, DraftKings, again, they did raise his price up a little bit too. He's up to 7,900, but minutes should be much more secure for Westbrook. He should have the ball in his hands a lot more without Paul George. We know Westbrook's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. He can do everything when he's on the floor, score, rebound, get assist. Again, the price tag coming up doesn't make him like a priority play, but I still think Russell Westbrook looks pretty good at 7,900, and I definitely think he is in play. Really like the matchup for Ivica Zubac. Minutes are a little bit concerning, though. Last game only played 19 minutes. I think he was in some foul trouble, but even in those 19 minutes, he wasn't like super productive. But we've seen OKC give up big games to centers this season. I think Zubac's just kind of like a GPP play, not a guy that have a ton of conviction on, but he is definitely playable because the matchup is so good. And then I'm guessing that we'll see Eric Gordon start in place of Paul George. I'm assuming it'll be Eric Gordon. Last game, Eric Gordon did play 28 minutes. He was not very productive, only had 8 DraftKings points, but he should step into a much bigger role here, should step into more minutes. And without Paul George, there's a lot of usage available. Obviously, we expect Kawhi to soak up a lot of usage. We expect Russell Westbrook to soak up a lot of usage, but there should be some opportunity for Eric Gordon too. So at 5,300, I don't mind going to Eric Gordon here, assuming that he does start. If they go with like a Terrence Mann, then you could definitely go to Terrence Mann for value if he winds up starting. But nothing else on the Clippers is very appealing. I think that's it for this team. So let's go ahead and move on to the other side of this game now with OKC. And for the Thunder, you got SGA coming in at 9,600. We saw SGA, not do that great against the Clippers when they just played on Tuesday. He had 31 points, but he didn't contribute too much with peripherals. Only 7 rebounds, only 4 assists, no defensive stats, just 44 DraftKings points. I would expect a little bit of a better game here for SGA. And one thing we know with SGA, man, like he's just going to get massive minutes. He's going to get great usage. The Thunder right now, like they have a chance to actually make the play-in tournament and potentially make the playoffs. So I think they're trying to win games right now, and they're playing SGA a ton. So I think at 9,600, again, like I said earlier, him and Kawhi are probably the two best pay-up options on this slate. I think it's neck and neck between those two. Slightly lean Kawhi, but I definitely think it's really close. I think SGA looks great today. Now the rest of OKC. Josh Giddey, last game, I think, did actually get benched late in that game. He only played 31 minutes. Minutes came down a little bit after he had been playing, kind of mid to upper 30s. At 7,700, Giddey's fine to go to on a 4-game slate, but definitely not a priority for me. Jalen Williams has been great, but at 6,700, he's another guy that feels priced where he should be. His role's been awesome. He's been super productive when he's on the floor, but again, you're kind of paying the premium for him right now. Not a priority at 6,700. And then the rest of the Thunder guys, Lou Dort at 5,400, I'll pass on. Don't see too much interest in really anyone else on this team. They just, when it comes to their bench guys, it's just kind of like a roulette. Like, you just have no idea who it's going to be. Last game, Jalen Williams didn't even start the second half. He only played 11 minutes, so not very interested in him. I'm pretty sure it was I can't remember who started the second half in place of him. I think it might have been Isaiah Joe, but honestly I can't remember. But Isaiah Joe did play pretty well last game, 27 minutes, 20 DraftKings points. If the Thunder do play small ball again, I mean, that could definitely benefit like a guy like Isaiah Joe. These are guys you could kind of take some shots on in GBPs if you want to, but that's pretty much it for OKC, I think. Nothing else looks that great here. Yeah, so I think that's it for that game, and I think that's it for this 4-game slate, guys. Again, it's a shorter slate today, only 4 games, but we'll have, I'm sure, a much bigger slate on Friday. Hopefully you guys will tune into the video then, but if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And again, if you guys are new to the channel and if you have not yet, go check out PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the sponsor of this video. You guys can sign up for PrizePicks. You can use my promo code Noah. When you do sign up, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And you'll go check out some of the props that PrizePicks has available. See if there's anything that stands out to you. Again, you're just taking more or less on a player's projection. It's as simple as that. You have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 6 picks. You can win up to 25x your money on PrizePicks. Make sure, again, when you sign up, use that code Noah. Get your deposit bonus when you sign up. But good luck tonight, guys. Good luck on this little short 4-game slate for Thursday. Hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.